Thank you all for being here today. My name is Councillor Mike Cohen, and I'm the chair of this particular event, and I want to say how excited I am because I was there. I wasn't a councillor in 2000 when we initiated and introduced this Human Rights Walkway, but when it started under then Mayor Robert Libman, the event was meant to be a daytime pedagogical educational event where we would have not only people from the community but students. And we've got some very good representation here today from Bialik, Solomon Schechter Academy, the Wager Adult Education Center, and some others as well. So I think it's going to be a true, authentic learning experience. And Daryl, I think before I say anything more, you wanted to do the territorial acknowledgement, so go ahead.
Justice, devoir du souvenir, liberté culturelle et inclusion sont des valeurs chères à la ville de Côte Saint-Luc. Nombre de nos résidents et leurs descendants ont construit leur vie ici, après avoir fui des situations difficiles ailleurs. Le Canada a été leur refuge. Mais pour les peuples et les communautés autochtones, les politiques gouvernementales au Canada ont créé des injustices. L'île de Montréal, où nous sommes réunis aujourd'hui, porte un nom beaucoup plus ancien, Sakakohe. C'était un lieu de rassemblement historique pour de nombreuses communautés autochtones. C'était aussi un lieu de diplomatie où a notamment été signé le traité de la Grande Paix de Montréal. Nous remercions la nation Kanhawake, également connue sous le nom de nation Mohawk, pour son hospitalité sur un territoire non cédé. Nous devons reconnaître le passé afin d'avancer avec un esprit de collaboration et de réconciliation. Justice, remembrance, cultural freedom, and inclusion are important values to the city of Côte Saint-Luc. Many residents and their descendants have made their lives here, having fled dire conditions elsewhere. Canada was their refuge. But for Indigenous peoples and communities, government policies in Canada created injustice. The island of Montreal, where we are meeting today, has a much older name, Sakakohe. It was a historic gathering place for many Indigenous communities. It was also the site of diplomacy, including the Great Peace of Montreal. We thank the Kanhawake Nation, also known as the Mohawk Nation, for their hospitality on unceded territory. We must acknowledge the past so that we can move forward in a spirit of collaboration and reconciliation.
So the Human Rights Walkway is dedicated to those men and women who, by their steadfast commitment to humankind, have held high the torch of human rights and let it light the world. We're very proud today to be honoring Nakuset, who advocates for Indigenous peoples and leads the Native Women's Shelter of Montreal. Nous sommes fiers d'introniser aujourd'hui Nakuset qui défend les intérêts du peuple autochtone et diriger le foyer pour les femmes autochtones de Montréal. Today's ceremony is all the more meaningful given the fact that it takes place on the eve of the National Day for Truth and Reconciliation, also known as Orange Shirt Day, which falls on September 30th, and it recognizes the legacy of the Canadian Indian residential school system. And as I noted, I'm pleased to see that we've returned to the original format of the event. Nakuset is Cree from Lac-La-Rouge, Saskatchewan. She was born in 1970. She was one of the estimated 20,000 or more First Nations, Métis, and Inuit infants and children taken from their families by child welfare authorities and placed for adoption in mostly non-Indigenous households from approximately 1951 to 1984. She was actually raised by a Jewish family, and a very interesting backstory. We will now hear, before we go further, we're going to hear from Nakuset, of course. We're going to hear from Mayor Brownstein, our M&A, Ms. Prass. But before we go any further, we're very honored to have with us today Elder Sakakohe Debbie Delisle, who is going to open up the ceremony. So, Elder.
Sego, Sawaguego, Matcanavarado. Sakakohe Debbie Delisle, Yojats, Gahaga, Gayado. Okay, sorry. Okay. Kanhawake, Nigidaro. Kajokwa, Swani host, Gani Gadiwesa, negadi o honda gari wa dekwa another headstone. Greetings, welcome everyone. My name is Sakakohe. My Mohawk name is Sakakohe, which means going back. My English name is Debbie Delisle. I'm Gayet Mohawk, people of the Flint. My clan is Turtle, and I live from Kanhawake. And if you just give me a few minutes of your time to listen to the words that come before all else. Awega aska ante dewa wat nuni ne ungwat negura dano dayito no warado ne ungwe sua togadi na yo don't ne got negura dayito no warado ne so I won't get all lost here. Dayito no warado ne yeti ni sta azi yo hunsade dayito no warado ne onenga suha dayito no warado ne gazo suha dayito no warado ne ohun de suha de otenwarado de otera sua dano onungwa sua dano John Hekwa de etenorado de gahisua ozi da ongwa sua dano obira sua dano gontirio de tonorado de ozi da ongua dano gayeri ni gawarage dano radireras dano John Hekwa garakwa, dano yuston agusuntaneka garakwa, dano ojistokwa sua, e dano zungwe edisun. To translate for you, I was aware that some youth will be here. I'll translate it into poetry, a little bit of a poetry that I came upon that I think you'll appreciate. The words that come before all else is a gift and a responsibility that was given up to us by the Creator. And so we give thanks every day, or we should give thanks every day. So we send greetings and thanks with our gathered one mind for our ongoing peace to all of humankind, to our mother the earth, to the waters that flow, to corn beans and squash, the sisters we grow, to the plants that are fruit, to the medicines to the four-legged animals for all that they do, to the sweet water maple and all of the trees, to the birds that we hear, to the winds and the breeze, to grandfather thunders, to elder brother the sun, to grandmother moon, our minds are now one, to the stars in the sky, to the teachers who share our ancestors' wisdom that teach us to care. To all of creation, these words are now done, but our thanks continues, and our minds are now one. I just wanted to thank for being invited, and I'm honored to participate in this gathering today as we honor and celebrate the inauguration of Nakuset and the Human Rights Walkway. And I just, if I may, if you can bear with me, I just want to share a little story. Well, first of all, there's two really major important responsibilities that the Creator gave us. And one is to give thanks every day. And the other one is to protect and care for our Mother the Earth and all that she provides for us that sustains us. So in doing that, I just want to share a little story. I had taught, especially for the children here, I had prepared some lesson plans for grade 3 students in a school, Au Pied de la Montagne in Montreal. And before I could finish the lesson plans teaching, COVID happened. But one of the things that I want to share with you that was feedback from the students, and they're 9 years old, they're in grade 3, right? And we were talking about our history and our responsibilities, and out of the window, and we talked about Jojage, and out of the window was the mountain, right out of the window. And we talked about that's the place that we gathered, and that's the place where we separated as well. So in the translation of Kanhawake, it's a place where we gathered, but also we separated. We gathered and then we left and went our own directions. And we planted there and we gathered there. And so they asked me, how come you don't, excuse me, how come you don't plant there anymore? And I said, well, we don't own the land there anymore. So you have that responsibility to plant and to take care. We're talking about taking care of Mother Earth. So for the children that are here, and all of us too, I think we need to continue providing for taking care of our Mother Earth and our own sustainability. So I just want to leave you with that. But the second part of that, being responsible for taking care of Mother Earth and all that she provides for us, the first thing that we gave thanks for were the people. And I'd like to acknowledge Nicoset for doing that, because I'm because out of respect to her, I'm going to just mention about the projects that she's done. And my pronunciation might not be the best, but she deserves Saralikitak, the Isquam project, the Cabot Square project, and Resilience Montreal. And I'm sure there's more that she's working on. I follow her and I hear what she's doing. And what she is doing is exactly what the Creator has given her as responsibility, and all of our responsibility. She's taking care of the people. She's taking care of our people. And when we know it's a challenge, and because of history, right? It's a challenge, so we know that we have to continue living as Indigenous people. And we know that our culture and language must be captured, maintained, shared, celebrated, and practiced. And we ask ourselves these questions because of our history. What do I know about myself, my culture? I was there too. I'm a product of the Indian Day School. Is it important for moving forward? Am I well enough to recognize, accept, and hold my people gently as we move forward? Nakoset has taken on the challenges and continues to face them in recognizing and accepting the importance of her well enough to recognize, accept, and hold her people gently as she moves them forward into the future. I would like to express my gratitude and thanks to the City of Côte Saint-Luc for recognizing Nakoset on the Human Rights Walkway. And I would like to extend congratulations and heartfelt thanks to Nakoset for what she has done and continues to do in taking care of our people. Nyawagoa, Miigwech, merci, thank you.
Elder, thank you for being here, and I hope when the ceremony's over that the students will individually approach her. You might have some questions that you could ask directly, so thank you very much. I'd now like to call upon our Mayor, Mitchell Brownstein, to say a few words.
Thank you, Councillor Cohen, Elisabeth Prass, and councillors that are here, Deputy Mayor Dita Burku, Councillor Stephen Erdely. Who else is here? We have former City Councillor Glenn Nashin and David Torjman as well. You know, this is a very special day. The Human Rights Walkway was inaugurated 23 years ago, and I was there. And there were many names that have been on this walkway ever since. Some of the names that Nakoset will be joining are René Cassin, John Humphrey, Rael Wallenberg, Jules Dessin, Maxwell Cohen, Mary Tu Axworthy, Helen Sussman, Antonio Lemaire, Miep Geese, Jackie Robinson, Nelson Mandela, Erwin Kotler, Romeo Dallaire, Viola Desmond. Chacune a son histoire, et chacun de nous a notre histoire. And each one of us, and I speak to the kids in the schools, I'm so glad that we have so many students here today. How do we get inspired to do great things? Well, I was watching the video of Nakuset. There's a video on YouTube. You should all watch it. If you haven't seen it, I know she's going to speak to us today and tell you wonderful things, but that video really tells a story. And it tells her story of who inspired her. She was adopted by a Jewish family, and her Bubby, her grandmother, had a big influence on her life and told her she could do great things. And it's really incumbent upon each one of us to try to inspire others, whether it's our brothers or sisters, our parents, our kids, our grandchildren. You know, I was fortunate that I had a Zadie who, when he arrived in Canada, he left his family behind, and all those who he left behind perished in the Holocaust. Another atrocity that we speak of often. We all have our stories. He inspired me a lot. But other people inspired me. I see Glenn Nashen's here today, and in 1989, former city councilor Glenn Nashen said, "Come work on my campaign." And I was like, "What's that, municipal politics?" I was involved in a lot of other stuff, but not municipal politics. But we worked on that campaign. We didn't win, but I learned a lot, and I'm mayor today. So you don't know what you can do as a kid to inspire other people to move on and do great things. So I'm really happy to be here today. I'm very proud. Je suis très fier que Nakuset va être un membre de cette histoire de notre ville qui a commencé 23 ans, et on va continuer avec des noms, des personnes qui sont très importantes pour assurer que notre vie est mieux. On travaille ensemble pour améliorer la vie, et chacun de nous a quelque chose qu'on veut améliorer. Each one of us knows we have a passion, we have something we want to make better, we want to affect change. So do it and have your friends and family inspired by you to do it too. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I'd also like to acknowledge former City Councillor David Torjman is with us as well today. At this present time, I'd like to ask our Liberal member of the National Assembly for Darcy McGee, Elisabeth Prass, to say a few words.
Hello everyone, I'm so happy to be here today and to be able to share in this experience. I first want to thank the City of Côte Saint-Luc for this initiative 23 years ago that sheds the light on people who have courage and convictions, and we can share the walkway and those examples with our children and with future generations to hopefully inspire them to be the best that they can be. We're here today to induct Nakuset, who has done and continues to do amazing work on behalf of the First Nations community, homelessness community in Montreal, with the Native Women's Shelter as well as Cabot Square. Homelessness in the last few years, especially post-pandemic, has become an issue that affects us all. We're all human beings. We all want to see the best for our brothers and our sisters, and it's very difficult situations. And the work that Nakuset does is work that affects lives and saves lives every day. People need to be treated with dignity in their lives, and she gives them an opportunity to be able to live a life in which they can feel that they are fulfilling themselves. Je suis vraiment fière de faire partie d'une communauté comme celle de Côte Saint-Luc qui rend honneur à des personnes comme Nakuset et comme d'autres qui ont été nommées, qui sont là pour nous inspirer et pour inspirer nos jeunes à être le meilleur qu'ils peuvent et à toujours tendre la main à son voisin. We live in a society where it's not always easy. There are a lot of difficult situations, a lot of vulnerable people, but at the end of the day, everyone is a human being. Everyone deserves to be treated with respect. And the work and the example that Nakuset has set is one that should inspire all of us to be the best that we can be for everyone else. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Ms. Prass. And without further ado, our guest of honor, after we hear from her, we will take a photo in front of the plaque, which you'll all look at, and then we'll invite all the students to come and maybe ask her some questions. We'll take some photos, and then we certainly want the students to go through the walkway with their teachers to see and read about all the other honorees. So Nakuset, please join us to the microphone. Thank you very much. Let's hear it for Nakuset.
This is really overwhelming. You know, I'm surrounded by amazing, accomplished people, and I feel like I still have a lot more work to do. So when I was in my 20s, I had met this family in Kanhawake, and I was honored and privileged enough to actually meet Mary 2 Acts Early, who is literally in one of the plaques here. And she told me about all the struggles that she had to do in order to live in the community, because she had married a non-Indigenous man and she was thrown off the reservation because that was part of the laws that were forced on Indigenous people. And it took her 20 years to implement Bill C-31. 20 years. I started my career about 20 years ago. When I met Mary, I was like, I want to be like you. I want to fight like you. I want to change the law. I haven't yet. I still have time. But it is surreal that we are close to each other in this walkway. So I'm really honored that Côte Saint-Luc has decided that I should be here. And I know that the mayor had mentioned my bubby. Sorry. When I was adopted, my bubby adored me, and she thought I was going to do such incredible things, and I was sure I wasn't. But she believed in me. And I ended up leaving home at a young age and trying to find my way, and spent time with her after I moved out, and she still believed in me. And there was a time when I was homeless, and she gave me such unconditional love that pushed me to help me find my Indigenous family and to get my Indian status, which was taken away from me. And she's not here to see what I have been able to accomplish. But through the work that I do, it's about lifting up others. And I'm not going to give you a really long story, but when Europeans came to this land, it was the Indigenous people that healed them, that supported them, that clothed them. And if you look at society now, it is the Indigenous people that are the highest population on the streets. And I feel like it's a responsibility. If I can do something, I will. And that's literally my mantra. Is someone gonna do it? No? I'll do it. And luckily, having an incredible group of people around me, I have a whole bunch of staff that are here. They are the ones, they're my warriors. They're the ones that are literally doing the work. But I need help, because I am not so young, and you can see my age there, it's written on there. I need help with what I need to do. I literally need about $6 million for Resilience Montreal in order to create a new wellness center for the homeless. It is an idea that doesn't exist. We're going to create that. We have all the beautiful floor plans, we have some of the monies, but we need more. Who's going to help me with that? So I look to everyone here to help with, find me a fundraiser, do a fundraiser at school. On Saturday, it's going to be, we're doing a march for Every Child Matters. The little square on the poster, all those, if anyone donates, it goes to Resilience Montreal. The love that my bubby gave me, the belief, is what we need to do for those that are on the streets. So, thank you for this award. Anyone who has a bubby, please hug her today, and help me help others, because without y'all, I can't do it. Thank you, and thank you to my staff who are here. Y'all rock.
Wow, you know, if she wasn't so busy with Resilience Montreal, I would vote for her. Not in Darcy McGee because it's taken, but she'd be a great, who wouldn't vote for Nakuset for Prime Minister right now? Well, this was exactly what I had hoped it would be. And I want to mention that the Wagar Adult Education Center, part of the EMSB, Louise is here with her students, and they are international students. They are students who have come here from all over the world and are studying to learn English and French as second languages. So I think that they could really understand where Nakuset is coming from.